And now we're finally in a change. There is an upgrade that happened inside of us that allows us to collaborate more, to form new alliances, to find our tribe, to finally know who we are and what we want. It's still kind of out there. And I haven't even started talking about collective outer energies yet. Okay, but I'm just talking you and you, the energy manager that you need to be to actively dream your new reality into, sweetie. Welcome, awakening energetically sensitives, energetic beings, and empaths. My name is Jona Bryndis. I am speaking to you of collective energies here today for week 12, that is for the 18th till 25th of March, a very, very pivotal week here in our personal and collective transformation. A heartfelt welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming to this live event here on Skype. Yeah, so if you have listened to the energy talk on Wednesday, where we illuminated current events from an energetic perspective, then you already know that there are connections. Yeah, everything is connected here between our personal life and the things, the challenges, the internal processes and the external processes in our life, and what is going on around us. I often call this weather conditions, and not to bore you with explaining it over and over again what these energies are that we're picking up on as energetically sensitives. We are basically part of an interactive world in which we are receivers and transceivers at the same time, which means that we're not solitary beings. We're designed to work things out together. We're designed to live together for survival purposes, but also for growth purposes, for understanding that, there's one aspect here in our personal lives that is personal, that has to do with us trying our best, trying to thrive no matter what the conditions are. And the other side of that are the conditions themselves, the milieu, the circumstances, the setting. And there are cycles and rhythms, one of which is the lunar cycle. As many of you know, that's why I've included the 18th, today's very, very powerful full moon into this energy update once more, but also things such as equinoxes and solstices. So this week is also an equinox week here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's the spring equinox, where the earth awakens, where the life force in the earth awakens. So anything here from the solstice, the winter solstice, to the spring equinox, and it's the opposite for the southern hemisphere, is about conception, is about us setting our inner navigator, coming up with something like a plan for this year, how we want to use our energies, how we want to focus our energies on what's important to us based on, ideally, who we truly are, what we need, what we want, where we want to go. And there are elements of greater cycles here that are playing into this time right now. This has to do with our collective developments, with our evolution, the evolution of consciousness, us growing into a higher thinking, a higher vibratory understanding of who we are, not just a material bag of flesh, if you want, that has occasional emotions based on neurotransmitters and hormones. No, that's not who we are. We are not who we think either. So our intellectual understanding is just a small part of this overall being that we are. So the higher vibratory understanding of ourselves, I guess in the old days we would have called it a more holistic understanding of ourselves, includes the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, the spiritual, and the energetic. So we're waking up to these energies. Yeah, it's my tagline. Everything is energy. And this is significant. This isn't some kind of mysterious teaching. This is actually something that those of us who are awakened to their energetic sensitivity can already subscribe to, can empirically prove to themselves. We can prove that there are rhythms and cycles within ourselves and outside of ourselves, and they interact with another. So the lunar cycle and the solar cycles, they are just examples of how our daily life is actually influenced by greater cycles. And guess what? There's even greater cycles than that. There is obviously our karmic cycle. So everyone who talks about karma, who has a sense of karma and destiny, is actually referring to a greater cycle. It has nothing to do with past lives necessarily. That depends on your spiritual understanding of that. But there's a karmic propensity that we all feel, like something, yeah, that pulls us in, yeah, like a higher vibratory version of ourselves. Growth is imminent, guys. There's nothing we can do about this, even if at times it feels like we're regressing. Yeah, but if you look at the biggest cycle that we can observe here with our five senses, which is nature, you see that there are very, very strong syntropic forces. Yeah, they pull us into a certain outcome. Yeah, such as ecology is a very good example. Yeah, so everything that we would call sort of divine order in a way. Simultaneously with these entropic forces, yeah, where everything gets pulled into chaos. Yeah, and both are relating to manifestation, to creation energies, yeah, which is also where our personal management of life force comes in, our energy management, and that is the theme of this next week. So let me untangle this because it's a very big week. Yeah, this weekend already very, very powerful and strong in its impact all the way down to your dream level. Yeah, what comes in when your physical is basically checking out and your etheric takes over. There's a lot of activity here. But different from these last weeks where we felt all this sort of building and becoming more and more overwhelming. Yeah, can you guys follow me here? Who felt this way? That things became more and more overwhelming and it was really, really hard to stay focused. There was a very, very strong pull into this internalized way of seeing things, very deep, very heavy for some people, and definitely foggy. Yeah, really, really hard, even if we know a lot about energies, to stay in touch with our physical needs. I mean, yes, I mean, I don't know how to describe it better than calling it overwhelming. The power of this, the intensity of this will remain here over this next week, but it will no longer feel as overwhelming as it has in these last weeks because they were sort of escalating, they were building up, and we're now experiencing a shift change. We're now experiencing something like, I can feel it. It's an inner knowing. There is a resolution coming in. Yeah. So resolution ahead is the theme here for this energy update for next week because we are experiencing something like a shift change. But this shift change is a very energetic shift change. So for those of you who are just now awakening to all these things, and I'm not talking chakras necessarily. Chakras, is a way for us to give it a vocabulary and a way for us to more systematically train and tune into this. All right, you can feel this intuitively. You don't need to know what the chakras are involved. However, I often point at chakra energies here in those energy updates for those of you who have already educated themselves on how to see yourselves in a more augmented, in a more holistic way, not just in this physiological material way, but also in an energetic way. Anyhow, when you begin to understand yourself that way, you begin to feel when choices that you make are expansive or contractive. You will begin to feel when something feels good for you or feels like it's leading you toward, say, liberation or more growth or more love, if you will, more health, or simply, just a more expanded way of living. And expansion is always a sign of abundance. It's always a sign of a higher vibratory solution. And whenever we can feel that, we need to, this is our task here as awakening energetic beings, we need to recognize that this can be more important than, let's say, a temporary physical restriction. So there might be choices ahead of you now where you have to choose. Let me give you an example, something like job, okay, where you have to maybe choose between two job offers or job opportunities, and where you may pick the one that pays less. But you do this very, very consciously because you can feel this inside of you, that this is what leads you toward more resolution within yourself, leads you more toward the true self that you are. And that in that is a greater abundance. In other words, cascading off that, the stepping stones, the things that follow that one choice will then bring more opportunities and more abundance, more love, or more freedom, depending on which one you're focusing on into your life. In other words, we will and are developing right now a better sight for what needs to be done in order to find higher vibratory solutions later. And this has a lot to do with this active energy management that I've mentioned here already, with what we focus on. The reason why this was a little overwhelming here in these last weeks was because this greater insight came in for many of you in regards to masculine and feminine, dark and light sides of your own sort of understanding of yourself. And you're now beginning to understand that that is a condition of life, and that the only way to move into more love, more freedom, more truth is to step into the center. And the center, can you picture the yin yang sign, is also the part in us where reconciliation and harmony can be found. And this is why when we look at things from an energetic point of view, we can look at things such as war or pandemic or inflation or the reset of the financial system in a different way. This isn't fake positivity, guys. You can understand things better. Why they have to happen, why certain things have to happen, because you do see the larger cycle and you understand the energy that needs to come in right now in order to. So it's kind of like, common sense. If you think of how creation in its biological sense works, certain things have to happen for a new life to be created. And some of these things are enjoyable and some of these things are not. I'm thinking of, giving birth. The actual giving birth process is not actually an enjoyable process. It can become a higher vibratory experience, though, if the father and the mother place it right, and if they work with it right, if they manage their energies around this experience, this condition, this occurrence right. And then you can have a magnificent experience, even though you have to go through some discomforting aspects of that. So I think you're getting the gist here. This is about more consciously choosing what it is that you want in life. And conscious choice was the theme of the last 6 weeks, and now we're finally in a change. There is an upgrade that happened inside of us that allows us to collaborate more, to form new alliances, to find our tribe, to finally know who we are and what we want. It's still kind of out there. And I haven't even started talking about collective outer energies yet. Okay, but I'm just talking you and you, the energy manager that you need to be to actively dream your new reality into, sweetie. You need to know who you are, what you want, and what you need in order to cultivate and manifest your higher expression. And this is the point. And what you need for this, just on that level, it's still all third, sixth, and seventh chakra. Yeah, fifth chakra is still, you guys all feel this here. Jaw protruded, yeah, temples tight, and lots of throat stuff still going around. That's still a bit impeded. Now, what you need now is to anchor this feeling of how you see in your true divine nature into your future self and understand what it is that you need to let go of. Yeah, so cultivation always means to train, to practice in your personal life, to put this out as your value, to put this out as your integrity. Yeah, and this can sound something like, you know what? This is it. I've had it. I love you and all, but this is not acceptable for me. In order for us to move forward here, in order for us to grow, to accomplish our common goal, I need this and this. And I know it's the right way for me. It's your choice, obviously, to place yourself in that as well, in the same way. So, and this is the higher vibratory version of collaborating, yeah, of forming alliances so that we can both harmonize. And when we harmonize, which has a lot to do with our values, because it reminds us of our integrity and what it is that we are aligning ourselves to, we can focus our energies in ways that we could never before. We can focus our energies on what we are, where we have the full access to our inner power. And again, here comes the masculine and the feminine, and full moon and equinox. Those are all sort of elements that play into this masculine feminine harmonization, because right now it is the raw masculine that awakes, that comes into the game, which is the reason why we're moving into this active manifestation phase now, because it is the energy that finally makes things happen. So you were all ready, all of you, to finally make things happen. Things that were kind of and really draggy and really niggly here in these last weeks will feel like they're going into more flow. But caution is advised, because it's still very raw and not very sophisticated, this masculine energy that is wanting to come back in. We need to refine it still, and there is an element of eruption, an element of accidents, an element of surprise with it, because it can sometimes be a little too forceful. Yeah. So as much as we need this masculine energy, this has nothing to do with males and females or genders, remember. This masculine energy is now to get things done. It needs to come from a place of inner unification. You need to know what you need these energies for, and they still need to be a little refined. In other words, it's important for you that you have a very, very clear sort of navigation right now, and if you still need to spend some time with that, that's fine. But know that we are already in those manifestation energies right now. So these days here now, today, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th to the 23rd, very, very powerful and eventful days. And that's my segue here for the collective, the outer energies. You're gonna have to really know who you are here, because outer energies can feel very chaotic, very surprising, very, I don't want to call it stressful, but they can push you a little bit. And what you need the most right now is a good grounding, a good anchoring. You need to know how to anchor your energy, not just for dreaming your higher vibratory being into reality, but also in order to withstand this like really strong, of life force coming in. And by the way, this reminds me of the Iceland retreat, that we have this summer. Iceland. I can't think of any country that symbolizes these two raw energies better than Iceland. We have this really, really strong, eruptive, volcanic energy. This raw masculine energy in conjunction with this really, really strong water energy. Like this glaciers, how they erupt out of the earth. It's amazing, the science of that. And when you understand things from an energetic point of view, you so see it there. This is why I'm so excited about Iceland, because there's no better way to connect with these inner life forces through the outer life forces. Right now, however, we are not in a position, say politically, or in regards to cryptos, or the sort of collapse of the petrodollar and things like that. We're not really in control of that. So all we can do is to understand how we need to navigate through this, how we can hedge that. And it's best probably to expect surprises. So it's not about I told you so, I knew it. It's about like, okay, how do I now, as I understand myself, work with this? How can I, for example, collaborate with others? I've told you this many times before. These new energies that are coming in here collectively, the larger cycles of this for the next 2 decades, is about resource sharing, is about collaborating, is about smaller communities, is about food islands, is about energy production, if you will, and data. Okay. How can we come together? How can we translate this into the physical, guys? Many of you are looking to relocate or buying a house right now. In the old days, you would have maybe looked for a place that's remote, that's far away from other people, because you saw the world as hostile. This needs to be changed right now, guys. You need to open up and pave avenues for others to come to you and for you to collaborate with others. It's very, very important. This is about new alliances. And everything that we experienced here in this, especially last year, about, give me a moment for this helicopter. About social distancing, about wearing face masks, about hiding, about isolating, is now ready to be let go of. So, yes, public opinion decided that the corona crisis is over with and that the Russian crisis is there now. All right? Hear my sarcasm in here? Okay? This is showing you something. It has to do with the mindset. It has to do with what we focus on. And my tip for you is don't go there. Isolation, fear, aggression, conquering, war. Find the middle ground. Find the middle ground. So this is what this resolution ahead is bringing in here. And on a practical level, watch things unfold. there is a very eventful weekend and week ahead of us. Things on this collective level are still moving into more chaos, finding its sort of most eruptive energy moment here in the week of April 4th, 5th till 12th, 13th. Okay, so on the outside, yes, things are building. On the inside, it'll feel calmer. And your job now is to navigate clearly, to be very, very clear and conscious about what you put your energies in. Keep an eye on the efficacy. You want to be precise there. You want to be precise with your wording, with everything that you put out there. You want to be precise with what you want, with your order form. Yeah, if you haven't done this yet, it's a beautiful exercise. I can put this into the transcript for this video here, the order form to the universe, and whom you are collaborating or distancing yourself from. These, play a big role here for these next 2 years. All right. So enjoy this. Maybe do a fire like I am doing today, to embrace this shift change, to embrace this higher vibratory momentum, even if it comes with a little more chaos. So just ground yourself and use the nature elements. Use water, use fire, use earth, use air, to remind you of your powers to co-create. Thank you, everybody. If you want to actively work with this, check my website. Tonight, we have the Unified Self, an advanced healing tool for inner unification. We have a workshop come up tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the power of conscious choice. And then we have the Connect with Your True Self session come up again. When is this? Let me double check my calendar. This is already around the corner next Tuesday. Oh yes, and I almost forgot. We have a equinox celebration here at Karmic Collective Clearing on Sunday afternoon. So please, join in here with these sessions that can be bought individually if you want to actively work with this and understand the context a little better. Love you guys. I guess I'm going to see you around tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, or Tuesday.